Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Nakamute pala ako. Kanina pa ako nagsasalita. Welcome to the stream. Sorry my mic was muted. Parang 5 minutes na ako nagsasalita. Kumusta? What do you want to know about ChatGPT APIs? I invited students also, pero parang, I don't know. Not much interest. Dinig ba ako, Kaloy? Morkoy, dinig ba ako? Can you hear me? Welcome to the stream. Siguro we start in like, I don't know, 5 minutes. Just grab your coffee first. Meron akong tea dito. Kayo, coffee naman. Welcome, welcome. I hope you stick in the next hour. Gonna show you how to use ChatGPT APIs. There's a bit of coding, but don't worry. Very basic coding only. Nothing very advanced. Nothing complicated. If you're watching from somewhere else in the world, just tell me. Is the stream too early? Start tayo in 2 minutes. Welcome to the stream. I think we can start. We have 4 viewers watching. So without further ado, let's start. Just pop in your questions when you have any question. Let me turn off our music. Pag gusto nyo medyo may music. Hina ko lang. Yan. Okay na. Okay, Dok. Today, we're gonna explore. Nadidistract ako. Patayin ka music, ah. So, today, we're gonna discuss. I'm gonna show you how you can create your own ChatGPT. Okay ba yun? So, just a background of what I'm talking about. I developed this in my previous company, Oh My Home. I developed this feature called Homer GPT. So if you Google Homer GPT, you will see this this page. So if you notice, this is similar to ChatGPT, but with a property information context. So what does that mean? So if you go to this app, you can ask questions about the value of your home. This is Singapore-based. So very important yung value of their home, like information about their property, and let's say, for example, what are the past transactions around my home. So I developed this, I think around, if I'm not mistaken, around October. No, we demo it in Tech Week Singapore. So it was featured in one of the talks. So dinemo namin yung Homer GPT. So these are the features of the app. So I used OpenAI to develop this. Purely OpenAI and Python. So I created an API that will answer questions based on the information. And we have also, let's say, our custom APIs before. So if you see, you can ask question here, and it will answer you based on the value of your home. So that's my previous company, Oh My Home. So if you're based in Singapore, you can download the app and you can try it out. It can also give you property news, interest rates. These are like from information from real-time APIs. So yan. So I use ChatGPT APIs. So also what you call OpenAI APIs to develop this. I will not give the exact details, of course, because this is a product that I built from my previous company. But I will give you an overview of the APIs that are available in ChatGPT. When I developed this, it was not yet, the features of the APIs are not a lot yet. So basic lang, like completions and chat APIs. So I'll drop the link here in the chat so you can try to access it. Yeah. So that's the link of the product I developed in Oh My Home, my previous company. All right. Okay. So just to give you a background, that I have, I've tried it out. I built a product on top of the APIs. That's why I will be showing it to you today. So what are the APIs? Ano ba yung APIs? So APIs are basically, ways to programmatically access the, functionality of ChatGPT. So let's say I have ChatGPT here open. So let's say when you chat here, let's just try this plan a relaxing day. So since ChatGPT is a chat tool which you use in your browser, there is no way if only using ChatGPT, there is no way that you can use this in creating applications because there is no interface. That's why it's called Application Programming Interface or APIs, because it allows you to access the features of ChatGPT, at least the models that it is using. So we can also do this in the APIs. I will show you later how to do that. So first is, so there are three different models that ChatGPT is using, or OpenAI is using to create their this AI assistant. So first is the latest one, no, in the newest, the one that they released. Was it like a week ago only? Itong GPT-4o, which is omni-channel, no? To GPT-4o. It can accept text and image input and text output. So this means that you can input text and image and it can output text, no? Then it has a context length of 128,000 tokens. What does token means? Token means that these are like, chunks of, it's not really a word. So there's a, I think in data engineering or data science, they have this way of, because they're working with a lot of data, they have a way to divide the text into different small parts. So they call that tokens. So if you want to know what tokens are, then you just add ChatGPT. So what are in OpenAI? This is not OpenAI specific. So tokens is more of like a generic term. So it refers to a place of text that the model, piece of text, no, not place, piece of text that the model processes. So I'll repeat. So tokens are generally referred to as a piece of text that the model processes. So meaning when you send data to the API, it has a limit of this 128,000 tokens. That's what it means. So later on, I will dive deeper into this. What does this token mean? So, right, will it limit you, or will it limit your application when you're using APIs, right? Using your OpenAI APIs. Okay. The next thing is, of course, this is not free. So since OpenAI is a business in itself, so they expose the APIs so the companies or organizations can build on top of the APIs. Let's say I want to create my own chatbot, like the one I showed you earlier, which is Homer GPT. We pay for the usage of the APIs because they spend so much money to create this OpenAI APIs. Of course, the models, the training of the models, they spend so much. So they need to have a return of investment. So that's why they are selling these APIs. So this model, for example, the input is per million tokens, per 1 million tokens, the price is $5. So how much is $5? $5, I don't know, magkano na ba yung dollar? So $5 times what, 60? Is it? So that's 300 pesos input. So it's two ways, no? Input, they charge you via input when you do an input to the API. They also charge you when you get an output. So ang output is more expensive, which is $15 per 1 million token. But if you're just using, if you want a simple, just completion chat API, you can use this GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is good enough for RAG applications. So if you want to use your own documents and create a chatbot out of it, then you can use this model. This is what we will use today because this one is a bit expensive. I suggest don't use the GPT-4 Turbo anymore because this is the new model and this is even more expensive. So don't use the GPT-4 turbo model anymore, right? Let's just use this GPT 3.5. Pero if you want more advanced features, or if you can do more complex tasks, you need to use the more advanced model, which is a GPT 4.0. Okay. So before I proceed, are there any questions? You just type sa chat, no, if you have any questions. So next is I will proceed to the, to where you can access the API. So what you do is you go to platform.openai.com. So if you're not yet logged in, it will log you in to the where you can access the APIs. So I'll just go through the features of this dashboard. So if you go here, for example, let's go to the playground first. So what they did now is you can create a new project, and all the API keys and all the configuration can be configured per project. So before walang ganyan. So there's no project before. So you just have one organization, then there's no project. Why projects? Because for example, yung project mo, you have API keys for that. You now can segregate it per project. So which is good. Kasi in one organization, it's not one project only. So if you share API keys, you don't know how much is spent for that project. So syempre you have budgeting for each project. So it's very useful that per project you will know how much are you spending, in terms of using the APIs. So let's go to this playground, which is the first icon here. So let's select select this project, this live stream project, because I already configured it. Then you go to the playground, and you will see here that you have a chat menu here. What does this mean? So this means that you can test your prompts, which you can actually create an create a API client out of it later. So what does this chat mean? So here in this main section, this is where you can select the model. So this is what I'm saying, that if you're using if you want to use a specific model, you choose it here. Since we're a cheapo and we don't have a lot of budget to use today, we will just use the GP3 3.5 Turbo. No? Okay. So I think let's create a new chat here. Let's create a social media post. Social media post about the use of APIs for your application. Let's say gawin natin. Let's say OpenAI APIs. Let's change the model since we need to compare. So you change the model. Let's just use the 3.5 turbo, no? Let's make it more interesting, no? So wag yung boring na OpenAI, no? Let's say let's use this create a workout plan, no? Yan. So it creates a sample prompt, which is this. I need to start resistance training. Can you create a 7-day workout plan for me to ease into it? So it just means that you create a workout plan for me for the next 7 days. So if you see here, it will give you details. Ganito kasi ChatGPT, right? It will answer you based on your request or your instruction or your prompt, whatever you want to call it, or your question. So it will give you a list of what activities you need to do for the entire 7 days that you asked. Okay, so this is ChatGPT. So this same prompt, we can copy it to where is it? Here. So we will choose GPT 3.5 Turbo. Tapos if we want to, let's say, gusto natin like, let's say, maximum tokens of 403. So let's say 400. So meaning that it will only generate 400 tokens as an output. So meaning you control the tokens of the output. So why do you need to control the tokens? Kasi or because you will be paying for it since it's not free, no? So you want to control the number of tokens that you will output. So you control the cost in a way. Okay, so itong system instructions, this is like for example, let's say you are a helpful assistant. Let's say gym, health. Ano ba tawag dun sa mga ano? Yung sa gym, you are a helpful gym instructor. Assistant. Let's say assistant sa gym instructor. So the system basically, before you put in your prompt, you just say that this is your persona or this is like a general instruction on top of the next prompts that you will do. So let's say this is you are a helpful gym instructor assistant. In ChatGPT, there's also something like this, which is configured here. Saan ba yan? So if you go to your settings, you will see here the personalization. Tama ba? It's custom instruction. So what does this do? So this is where you put your, for example, if you want to have it a specific tone or like a certain persona, you can put it here. So these are sent as system prompts in their API. So yung API, kasi itong the ChatGPT is also using their own APIs, of course. Right? They just created an interface for it. So they're using that in this system instruction. Okay. Later on, we will see the different types of roles. They call it a role, this one, this system. No? So let's now copy paste the copy. Copy paste natin yung lipat natin para hindi tayo. So yan, the same prompt, I will send it to the playground. I think I need to move my, hold on my camera para makita niyo yung buong prompt. Let me just minimize my window. No. So yan. Minimize muna natin this siguro. Yan. Okay, do you see it now? So I will put in the same prompt which I put in ChatGPT. So I will click run. I can also add more prompts if you want. But right now, let's not do that, right? So basically, this is testing your, if you want multiple prompts to send to the API. No? All right, let's click run. So what it will do is it will do the text generation based on your prompt. So meaning that it took in the system role, then with the message, then the user role with that message. Tapos assistant, what is this assistant? Assistant means this is the ChatGPT reply or the model reply. Let's say we use 3.5 here. This is the model's reply. So ito yung response no model. Let's say here, if you ask it right, kung ano yung answer niya, right? So let's say what is the answer here? This is the assistant reply. All right. So if you look here, the answer is pretty similar with ChatGPT's output because they're using the same model. All right. So you see here that there's a latency which is around 6.5 milliseconds, which is around 6.5 seconds. Then these are the tokens used up. So it will not follow this exact number because of course it needs to complete the word, no? The spelling of the word kasi baka it could be truncated. Ganun. So it will just at least, but it will at least follow this maximum as a guideline, no? Don't worry about the other TAPI, frequency penalty, presence penalty yet. These are like advanced features. For now, let's look at the temperature. So temperature means that if you have a high temperature, it means that ChatGPT will be very creative. If you lower the temperature to 0, so very factual yung answer niya. So let's try to remove this again. Then if you run it again, then I think we will not see the difference here in the answers. But that's basically the idea of what a temperature is. All right? Any questions so far? So meron din siyang there's also a feature called compare. So this one is a new feature that they added. You can compare the output of a certain, let's say, let's use this 40, no? Let's remove this. Let's remove this. Yeah, so let's copy this one again. This is very good because if you want to compare the output of the different model. So if you want the output of the more expensive model, then it's you use that. Kasi there are different tasks that only the advanced model can do. I haven't really experienced anything that, maybe it's more of a data, analysis. But so far, if you just need completion, 3.5 turbo is good enough for your use, especially if you're just starting, no? So I will click run. Are you seeing it? Parang nakatrancate, no? Let me minimize my... Let's change the view, I think, no? Hold on, ah. Yeah, alright. Because you cannot see the run button, no? Alright, ganyan natin. Alright. So if I do a compare, nawala na yung ano niya. Yeah. So let's make it like this. Anyway, just imagine there's a run button below that I will click. This one. Yan, o run. So maybe ganito na lang so you can see. So I'll click run. So basically, it will create the completion using two different models. No? So this is a nice feature if you want to try out what is the result if I am using the 3.5 turbo or if I'm using the GPT-4. Alright? So yan. So this is the playground. So this is where you can try out your prompts. You can also, let's say this one, no? So why is this important, itong thread na to? This is important because if you want to create ChatGPT, it has conversations. So let's say this one is the user, which is us. Then this one is the assistant answer. Kasi there's it has some memory. So when you ask again, it should actually get the context of the original message, for example. So same din dun dito sa playground. So it has context from the start. as long as it will fit the context that is allowed to be sent to the OpenAI API. So if more than, it will truncate. That's how I understand it. Okay. So if you want to try out the playground, there's so many, there's also some examples. This one is very interesting. You can try out the examples, let's say, grammar correction. So let's say this is a example that they have. So this example can convert ungrammatical statements into standard English. So meaning if the grammar is not correct, it will correct it. Right? You see, she know when to the market. So pag Baroque English, you can use this. So there are different examples that you can use. Let's try this parse unstructured data. No? So this is the instruction. So this is the purpose, the functionality, create tables from unstructured text. So the prompt is you will be provided with unstructured data and your task is to parse it into CSV format. Alright, so what does this mean? It means that with the unstructured data that I will provide as a user, you need to convert it to CSV format. Alright, so let's say this is the text. There are many fruits that were found on the recently discovered planet Gukrox. There are neoschisels, etc., etc. Then the response will be CSV data based on the information that was sent to it. Okay, so we will try this out in the playground. No? So I don't want CSV format. I want JSON format. Who is familiar with the JSON format? So modify natin. Let's do JSON format. Or maybe table format in Markdown. Let's say JSON format. No? Because CSV is boring. So let's use the same prompt. Then let's run this using the GPT 3.5 Turbo model. So yan. So what it will do, it will produce lilitan ko lang, a JSON of all the information from this. Kasi the instruction is, using this unstructured data, parse it into JSON format. Meaning you're instructing the model to output it into JSON format. So yan. Let's say I want XML, no? Pwede rin yun. So ChatGPT is very capable of outputting into different formats. Let's say XML. Sino ba nag-XML dito? Alam nyo pa ba yung XML? JSON, I think you're familiar if you're working with APIs. But XML, these are like, I don't know, during my time, we use this as our API request payload. So wala na yata XML because it's a very big format. It's very heavy. So run natin, no? So ganito yung itsura ng XML. So it's basically like JSON also, but it's using tags similar to HTML, like that. So actually, if you ask me, XML is clearer, and you can even put comments in XML. So JSON, I don't think you can put comments. No? So that's one way of using the examples. So pwede na natin close to. Tapos, there's so many examples here that you can try out. So what example do you want to try out? Translation. How about this one? Very medyo technical. No? Natural language to SQL. So meaning you can ask ChatGPT or the model to Given the following SQL tables, your job is to write queries given a user's request. So using this table schema, you can, let's use the cheaper model. Don't forget tong choosing the model because it will add up to your bill. No? It will charge your credit card like that. So if you see here, it was able to create an SQL out of the schema based on the query of the user. No? I suggest you go through all these examples here and try out. There's so many. Let's say this, oh ito, maganda. Lesson plan writer. Let's say I'm an instructor, right? I'm an instructor. I can use this to create a lesson plan. No? I don't want algebra. Let's say I want a Golang programming course. So my instruction is write a lesson plan for an introductory Golang programming course. The lesson plan should cover the, this one is the basics. Yan. So I want to use the cheaper model since we're a cheapo. So let's say, let's not use the system anymore. It's not required anyway. So we can do this, write a lesson plan. You see, it can output the entire lesson plan using this playground. But I suggest if you're just testing prompts, do not use playground if you really don't want to, you know, spend. Kung nagte-test lang kayo ng prompts, I suggest use ChatGPT. Don't use this. So this is just to test if you want like different, if I want to add a new message like an assistant or a system, ganon, no? Pero if you want to just test this prompt, for example, you might as well just use the ChatGPT for free. Pwede mo nga gamitin yung 4 pa nga rito kasi it's, included already in your account. So that's the same output as the playground. So what I do normally, I mean for my own personal learning, I copy the prompt from here and copy paste it to the ChatGPT. No, don't waste your money in using the playground. No, use it only if you need to chain messages. Let's say you want to ingest the entire conversation, which is like 5 messages, like assistant user messages. So if you want to just test that, then you use the playground. But if you want to just test one prompt, two prompts like that, might as well just use the ChatGPT because it is free. No? All right. So there's a lot of ideas in prompting here in this playground. So maybe I'll create a video out of it. I'll go through all the examples here because all are very practical examples, which you can also do in ChatGPT. No? All right. So that is the playground feature. No? Okay. I showed you earlier that you can do the instructions here. No? Let's say you are a helpful assistant, marketing, be helpful assistant who is an expert in online marketing. All right. So I create another use message here, which is a user message. So create a social media post announcing a new product. Maybe our product is a bicycle product. All right. So this one, I can add it to the thread. So you can imagine this as a thread. So I will add this. So meaning that if okay, let's say, uh, gawa tayo ng social media post dito so we can use as a answer to the assistant. No? So this is how you use the ChatGPT. If you want it free, just use the app. So yan. So I just gonna generate a social media post so I can put I'll add it as an example here in to. So ito kunwari yung sagot ng assistant. Right? Yan. Tapos, let's say I want to create a blog post using all this information. So gagawin ko, I will ask as a user, create a blog post. Okay. So I'll add it here. So imagine how many messages is this? Can you type in the chat? How many? One, system message. The second message is the user message. Then the assistant message. So you can imagine this is a ChatGPT thread. That is, when you click this run button, it will send all this information to the API. What does it mean? The entire history of your conversation will be sent as a context, plus the last instruction or prompt that you gave it, right? So yan, so we can run it now. So if you notice, even if I say just create a blog post about the new product without even telling it what is the product, it will already figure it out. Why? Because it sent this context, which is the foldable bicycle product, no? And it was able to figure out the information that we sent it, the answer of the assistant, yung description, like that. All right. Okay. So, Melvin, question. These are all user interface, so it's also like ChatGPT. Well, what's the difference between using ChatGPT and this? The difference is you can actually see the code that you can use to call the API. So if you notice here, that's why I'm saying this is just a thread. There's this, it is just a array. Ano ba to? This is an array of objects of type message. So yung sinasabi ko, the system is the role, like there are different roles. The roles are basically these three: user, assistant, and system. So you can combine everything and you can generate the code from here. So what will you do? So you just copy this to your Python application. No? You can go to your Colab. Colab is just a Jupyter notebook online. So we can create let's say, a new notebook. No? Because you can copy paste your code here like that. Then run. Later on, we'll try to run it. So let's go through the UI first. Okay. So that's one feature that you can do. You can see the code and you can copy paste it to your Python application. So there's also support for different Node.js. There's also support for what else? Let's say, pa ba? Curl. So if you want curl only, just use this. Since if you're familiar with already, if you want to try it out quickly, it all also supports JSON. So JSON is just if you want to call this in Postman, then you send this information. So yan. So I suggest, okay, when I was doing the Homer GPT, I started it using TypeScript. So there's a library that I use which is called Vercel AI SDK. You can also use this library if you're using TypeScript. So let's say you have let's say a docs. Tingnan natin docs. Let's say this. So if you have TypeScript or if you're familiar with TypeScript, this is what I suggest you use. Kasi it's a Node.js library that you can just import into your application. Then you can use the generation by just configuring it. It also supports the streaming. You know, the typing effect. The typing effect dun sa ChatGPT. So it supports that also. So meaning you can create your API in Node.js and you can stream the completion or the answer of the model. Ganon. So it's very easy, no? Kita mo, it's very straightforward if you're using this library. So you just import the module from the package, or I think this is a library. Then you just import this component, stream text, then you can use it already. So just do an await, so you can do an asynchronous, wait for the response. Then you just loop through the await to stream the completion, the output of the API. So this is when you're using TypeScript. Okay. Because they want people to be able to use the AI easily using the Next.js application. Pero this one is not very specific to Next.js only. This can also be used in different Node.js application since it's a Node library. All right. So TypeScript. But if you want to really get into serious, I want to create an API or want to create a RAG application, I suggest you invest in learning Python. Why Python? Because Python, all the tools like LangChain, Llama Index are all built with Python. Although LangChain have a JS also, but the examples, the forums, so if you encounter a problem, it's easy to find resources if it's in Python. So that's based on my experience. Like I developed this Homer GPT. So based on experience, Python is still better in terms of, if I encounter any problem, I can find a solution for it. Okay. There are also some forums which I will show later. But I'll go back to the dashboard. Okay, medyo we segue to that AI SDK because I showed you the code which supports Node.js also. No? So that's an alternative. If you don't want to call the API like this, then that's the best alternative. Use the SDK of Vercel. That's the best, I think, for TypeScript. No? Okay. So I have some Golang code here to demonstrate how you can call the API. Right? Okay, so ito yung Golang code to call the API. So yan. So Golang is very straightforward. I have just two structs here which represents the payload, meaning the request payload of the API and the message here. So before we go into this, I think I need to show you the documentation first. We're gonna use the chat, the chat endpoint. Ito, chat completions. No? So V1 chat completions. So this is the API that we're gonna use. So you can take a screenshot or I can also send the link here in the chat. Yan. So this is the API that ChatGPT is also using. So what it does is like what I mentioned earlier. So let's ano ba yung gusto nyo? Let's say let's just use the CURL version, the curl version. So it's easy uh, to understand. So this is the endpoint. If you're familiar with calling APIs, this is very straightforward. The endpoint, then you have just two headers, which is the content type and the OpenAI API key. I will show you later where to get that key from the dashboard. Then you have your data, which is yung model and the messages list. So you have in the messages, the message object have a role and a content. So if you notice here, we also model the same structure, which is the payload, which is the model and the messages. And the message have a, inside the message, in the payload, there are messages that has a slice or an array of messages, which have this structure, no? All right. So the message will look like this. So it's similar to this structure that we have here. You can also post this in use Postman. You just copy this data, then you just send it over to the API. That's also one way to test it. No? So let's run this. Okay, before we run it, so I will just show you that I created the payload and I used the GPT 3.5 Turbo. On the top, I defined the API key, which is a required. You need to, it's required. So let's show the Python. No? So yeah, no. So if you're using the library, you need to set it, I think, in the environment variable. But since we're not using environment variable, I just put it as a string in the top. Then, okay, we're building the payload, which we will send to the API. Then, oh, thank you, Romano Cavallo. Welcome to the stream. All right. We're just in the middle of the, showing the APIs. Thank you for following, boss. All right. So then we just marshal it into a JSON, the data, this data structure. We marshal it into a JSON. So this one is if you look here, the definition is it creates a byte array. Then you send it you create a buffer, byte buffer, then you send the JSON data here. So no, it's the same as, sending it over, if you're using JavaScript or Node, same lang yan. So basically, this is just adding the post request payload to the request, HTTP request. So I'm just creating a new HTTP request here. Then I set the bearer and the application JSON here. The content type. So same lang din, no? So basically, this is just a representation, Golang code, of this API specification, right? So yung API key, I defined it on the top. Since the API requires it to be sent through the header, the authorization header, using this format bearer than the I don't know, maybe it's a JSON token also. Oh no, not a JSON token. It's just like a API key string. Then I create a HTTP client. Then I send the request to the API. So this one, you can generate the code also using ChatGPT. If you want a Python version of this, just let it generate in ChatGPT. You can also do that. Tapos I just close the response. Then I read the response from the response body like that. Tapos I print out the response. So let's go through the application. So debug natin so we can see. Let's say let's start here now. Building the payload. Maybe we start here. Right? So debug natin siya. So we just want to see the control, the flow of the program. All right. So if you see here, since the API key is in the as a variable, it shows the variables and the values. So tapos we go over it. Tapos we build the messages. So once we already configured the messages, siguro let's skip this and run it. Let's create a new breakpoint here. So yan. So you can see here that we already built the messages. So yung array, no, we're able to add it into an array here. No, so this is now your messages variable. Okay. So yan. Don't copy my API key because I will get charged out of it. Anyway, just kidding. Yeah. Anyway, for demonstration, I showed it so you can see kung how it is configured. Another way is to configure it, of course, in the environment variable para wala dun sa code nyo. So it's not in the code. Hello, Cavallo. Welcome to the stream. All right. Okay. So let's say I'm happy with the. So let's say I go through the application. We create a request. So all the headers are set. Let's say our headers are set. So this is how our request object looks like. So we have a post. So we have your host, like the URL API key, then the messages, no? All right. So yan. So let's do a play now. So we can see here that the the server, the API, OpenAI API responded with the JSON. So let's just maybe I will just use the JSON editor so it's easier to look at. So if you see here, this is the response of the API. So yan. So this is the response of the API. So what I prompted it is to generate a, let's close this. So this is my prompt. So you are a real estate assistant and you will always answer in Tagalog. So if you notice, if you don't understand Tagalog, uh, anyway, this is the translation of the answer. So since I instructed it to answer in Tagalog, it will convert the response to Tagalog language. All right. So it's just very simple to do. So this is how you call the API. All right. So I will show you more features in the dashboard, which is more advanced. So if you notice here in the ChatGPT, they also have a feature called custom GPTs in the top. Let's say I have my virtual CTO here. Let's say, how should we approach our tech strategy? So this custom GPT can also be programmable. You can also use this to, in OpenAI API, there's also a way to create a custom GPT wherein your application can access it and make use of it. So if you want to integrate like a chatbot, then using like custom data, you can also do it in the OpenAI API. So before we go into that, I will just show you how to create a new, uh, let's say, let's just edit this GPT. Let's go to the Explore GPTs just to get so you will know the idea of what a GPT is, a custom GPT is. So let's try to edit this. So basically, the custom GPT, you can create system prompts or like, high level instructions. Then you also can create templates, like conversation starters. And you can allow it to access the web. ChatGPT by default don't have access to the internet. But using the custom GPT, you can do this. You can do web browsing. You can also let it generate an image. And you can also let it use the code interpreter. No? So this interface is just UI in ChatGPT. But in the OpenAI, there's also a way to access this uh, functionality. Sorry. Maybe I need to minimize that. Let me change the view, I think, so you can see the entire screen. Or maybe I just minimize again. All right. So this is what I'm talking about earlier. Oops. Hey, yo. If you know Hello, hello. Sorry, sorry. Yeah, yeah. Is it back? Yeah, yeah. Okay. I think itong mic ko, when I press the mic, parang sensitive yung top. Okay. Okay na, Joel, no? Thank you for mentioning that. Okay. All right. Saan ako naputol so I can continue on that part. Okay. So anyway, just to continue, you can copy the instructions here. Then you can also run it like that. Parang yung custom GPT din. Yan, like that. So it will create a response for you. So yun yung if you want to use that to create your own GPT. So for example, sometimes kasi you have your own, let's say you have your own website or you have your own application where you want to embed your chat, which we did in the Homer GPT before. So ito is more of, if you want to use it embedded into your application, you just use the API to do it. So you can use the assistance API. Yan, ito. Yan. So I think there's also some features last launch, then which I think they improved it. This was not very stable before. Maybe in-improve na nila. So remember, every time you access this and you try to play around, it actually costs you money. But that's okay. It's very cheap. No, it's not really very expensive. All right. I'm trying to create a course on, you know, ChatGPT and how to do this OpenAI API. So you can follow me if you want to get updated. You can also follow me in LinkedIn if you want. So medyo updated kayo if there's any announcement that I do. All right. So let's go to the completions. Itong completions ay normally hindi na siya masyadong ginagamit because I also use the chat. So this completion is also like, I think this will be deprecated soon. So I suggest don't use this anymore. No, so this is just, you can do the same functionality using the chat APIs. No? All right. So ngayon kung may assistant ka na yun, so parang meron lang. If you notice yung configuration nung, if you compare this to the chat GPT one, no? If you compare this to the chat GPT, oops. Ah, this one, ito pala. Ito pala nawala. So if you compare this dun sa chat GPT, where's our chat GPT? Let's create a new window. So same lang din siya yung assistants. So yung chat GPT, you have your custom GPT here, right? So makita nyo configuration wise, the assistant is similar to the configuration ito, no? So yan. So meron din siyang, there's also file search, which is this small upload files, then code interpreter, then the DAL-E. The DAL-E, I think wala tong assistant, so it's not yet supported. Mm. There's a question here, if nakasubscribe ako sa ChatGPT, I can play din yung custom GPT. Yes, that is correct. Different siya. Okay. ChatGPT subscription is different from the OpenAI subscription. So magkaiba siya, Joel. So you need to also create yung ano mo dito. So magkaiba siya. I suggest if you want to play around with the API, just subscribe to the OpenAI this platform OpenAI. If you want to play around with the GPT, the custom GPT, then you subscribe to ChatGPT. Medyo mahal din kasi yung ChatGPT Plus. So yung $25 for a month can do a lot more in the the API. So depends on your needs. Ako I subscribe to both. The difference is ChatGPT, you pay a monthly fee, but you don't have access to the API. But in the OpenAI platform, OpenAI, it's per pay per use. So if you use it, then that's what you pay. Hindi siya like $25 a month. Ganon. Mm. If you have any question, just you can message me. I think we have a Discord in the, I can send, there's a Discord in the description in my Twitch. You can join there and you can ask questions there. I can answer you if you need more clarification. Okay, that's it. All right. So there's also fine-tuning features sa OpenAI. I haven't really used this because they say just do the prompting first before you do uh, fine-tuning. No, so just do prompting, RAG, retrieval augmented generation before you go into fine-tuning. Medyo mahal din kasi yung fine-tuning. It's more expensive than just using. So if you fine-tune, it will charge you based on the model that you use. So let's say if you want to create a new fine-tune, you select let's say a model that you want to use, which is let's say DaVinci. So then you upload a file, the training data. Then itong training data, it also has a certain format, which is not very straightforward. So you need to format it. But it's available for you if you want to fine-tune your your model. So once you fine-tune your model, you can access your model using the API as well. So kumbaga sa if you trained it with more data or if you have specific tasks na kaya niyang gawin, then you can use it via the API also, no? Which is very good. Okay. So those are the technical parts. I'll just show you more on these batches. I'm really not sure how to use this yet. I think this is a new feature. And the storage is basically if you upload files, you will see the files uploaded here. No. Let's say you uploaded a file here in the, let's say this one. For example, I want to upload let's say a document here. Let's say my resume, no, upload natin. So if you click on this, so pwede na magtanong about that document, no? So now you will see it in the storage here kasi in-upload ko yung file, di ba? So basically ano to, parang it's like S3 or Google Cloud Storage, no? So you can see all the files that you upload. There's also support for vector stores. This one I haven't really used. Then you have your usage. So itong very important, no? Because it will show you the amount that you have, the activity and the spend. So very important to if you're running on a budget. So this is very important to understand if you're running in a budget. So for example, like last May 16, I spent around 2 cents in dollars. So magkano na rin yun, di ba? So this is basically let's say you see here, I used a GPT 3.5 Turbo, then I use embedding models, which is the other color. So if you see here, gumamit tayo ng GPT 4.0 earlier. So you can see it in the activity. So you can see all the breakdown of the usage per project. So before there's no feature that you can do it per project, but now you can also do it. You can see the breakdown per project. So I'm just gonna show you that there's a below. There's a GPT 3.5 here. Oh, kasi you're not able to see it. So yan. So you see that there's a monthly spend, and also see that there's another breakdown here, which is just using the GPT 3.5. All right. Okay, API keys. So where do I get my API keys? So in the platform API, openai.com, you can see all your API keys here. So before they use user API keys, but it's already deprecated. So the way now is you create an API key per project, then you use it in your application. So let's create a new secret key. Let's say for test live stream. Yan. So I suggest you use a service account if it's for your application. Or maybe just this muna. So then the nice thing about this is you can you can set the permissions for that key. Let's say for that key, I don't want it to use assistance. So I suggest you use this restricted uh, tab. Then you allow it. So let's say I want you to be able to query models. I want you to be able to use the chat completion. So then you put write access to it. But this API key, I don't want access to the assistance API. So I don't give access to it. Also, since this is Threads is assistance feature, then I don't give access to it. I don't also give access to fine tuning and also files. So yung API key, your API key will only have access to this models API and this model capabilities API. Clear ba yun? Is it clear? Because this will also allow you to put in more security for your API keys. So not everyone who has your API key can use it for any API. Kasi you want to control cost kasi this has a price, no? So now once you're ready, you create a secret key. Then you copy the key. Let's say you copy the key here and you paste it in your application, for example. So ito na yung key. You can paste it here and run your project, no? So ito na yung key natin, we run it. So you can already use it. So all the usage will go to that key. Yon, ganon. So that's how you get your API key and use it in your application. Clear? Is that good information for you guys? So uh, these API keys, do not give it to anyone because they can use it and it will cost you money if someone gets it and try to use the API, OpenAI API. So be careful with the keys. So since we don't need the key anymore and I use it in the stream, I can delete this key and revoke it. So what does that mean? Revoking the key means that no one can already use it anymore. So if you run the application now, since dinelete ko na yung key na yun, since I deleted that key, then I will not have access to, meron siguro may cache pa, no? But at some point, it will already not allow me to access the API. So meron siyang cache. So just take note of that. All right? Okay. So there's also settings here. Anyway, ito mga organization name lang and billing, everything. See? I loaded, I think, $20. So I've used up 3 cents already. Ganun. All right. Then you can also add members to your project. So for example, you are using it in your organization. You can add a member using, his email or someone you added already in your organization. So you can also put limits. You can set a monthly budget like this. So you can control the usage, yung cost, no? Then you have your docs here, which is also the same thing as I showed you earlier. So the docs, you can go through the docs. The docs are very good, very nice, very straightforward. Let's say text generation to. use your completion. I think chat completion gamitin nyo. Don't use the ordinary completion anymore. Then you also have like features like let's say ito yung sinasabi ko na obsolete na. Don't use this anymore. Then if you want to use the vision API, no? If you want to let it understand an image, you can show the image. You see here, oh. You just send the URL of the image, then it will try to understand the image. Kasi if you use ChatGPT, I think I can show you something. Let's say I have a image. Say let's choose an image. Uh, this is Valorant stuff. Let's say let's choose an image from the Wikipedia. So you just get the maybe sinunod ng Korean. Maybe let's do a let's say Marina Bay Sands. So this is a hotel in Singapore. So let's copy the image here. So in ChatGPT, you can actually let it understand an image. So let's say save ko muna to. Let's save this picture. Then we can select the picture here. Kita nyo, you can also use Google Drive already. So downloads. Ano yung Marina Bay Sands natin? Let's say, wait I think I saved in a wrong directory. Oh, yeah. True. Downloads. Go to our downloads. Yan. So, ChatGPT. So, let's say we want to upload. Supported na rin niya yung Google Drive, no? Which is also good. Let's say, describe this image. And yan natin kung ma-identify niya as Marina Bay Sands. Yeah. So, this is the Vision API I'm talking about. So, it means that ChatGPT can understand an image. Then, since we're using the API here, you can have access to it also and integrate it with your application. Is that clear? So, yung functionality na to, which is vision, understand an image, is also available here in the OpenAI API. You can also do text to speech. So, you just use this API. So, I don't know if you hear it, but it's from text, it can generate uh, an audio. This is similar to 11 Labs, the API of 11 Labs. All right. So marami siyang features. So you can also do a image generation in the OpenAI API. Maybe later on we can show this in a more, structured course in the future. So you can create a image by calling an API only, like this, right? Maybe we can try this if it will work, no? So let's say let's do I think we need to put in the gamit na tayo na scratch pad. Scratch file. New scratch file. Text lang. No? Huwag na lang to. Gamitan na lang natin ng tools. Let's use the HTTP client. So post generations, uh, DAL E3, right? So medyo mahal to pero I'll do it for you guys. So makita nyo is I will just generate a API key for this. So let's make it able to create images. So copy natin yung key. Let's copy the key and just paste it here. No? Then we call this API. URL is invalid. Oh, copy niya yun. So you need to check the price of the API before calling it because it's gonna cost you money for sure. No? So see, it's able to generate the, I think it's a URL of the image. So copy lang natin to. So white Siamese cat. So copy lang natin tong data. Let's take out the JSON. So let's raw. Copy natin to. Napakahaba. So it will give you the URL of the image as a response. Ay, 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 yo. Let's go to our JSON editor. Mas okay pa to. So kunin natin API. So this should be a Siamese cat. Ayan. So we were able to generate an image using the image API of OpenAI. So it's using, they're also popular because they invented this model called DALL-E, which is one of the pioneers of, the image generation models, uh, like Midjourney, like that. So it's also almost at the same time, ganon. So what do you want to generate? Give me, let's say, let's change the generation. So I don't want a Siamese cat. I want let's say, Italian villa with a large pool and garden. So yan. Pakita lang natin na we're really calling the API using that. So the possibilities are endless. You have like text generation, you have image generation, you know. Up to you what you really want to do. So let's copy this and take this and access the URL. So it created also a revised prompt. So pinaganda pa niya yung prompt for us. All right. So this is our nice Italian villa generated by the image generation of OpenAI API. So that's how you use saan ba yun? The image generation API. This one. So I will drop the link so you can see it. So yan yung API that we use to generate an image. No? All right. Okay. So yan yung ano, yung final product natin. So okay, I think that's about it. I will entertain questions. So that's how you use the OpenAI API. Very straightforward. Just normal APIs only, like this. Any questions on how to do it? If you have any questions about, the pricing, everything, I can also answer you guys. You can join my Discord. I think it's in my Twitch. Let me drop my Twitch here. In my Twitch, sorry. My Discord. So I invite you in my Discord. So I'll drop it in the chat. So this link will expire. So make sure you join the Discord after this stream. Free naman yan. So this is my Discord. If you want I also have another link in my website, wherever you wanna access. But for now, this is a 7-day link that you can use to join the Discord. So I'll see you in this Discord, and if you have any questions, I'll stay for another 15 minutes so I can answer them. All right. I can play some music while we answer some questions. Any questions, guys? Or clear ba lahat? So is it clear how to use OpenAI APIs? So imagine the functionality of ChatGPT. You can add it to your own applications. So that's so powerful. I mean, if you ask me, you can create your own application. Oh, I am a back-end engineer before I left my work. So you can add me in LinkedIn. Programmer din ako. So ngayon I'm doing full-time streaming. And also I'll gonna create a course, online course, so I can teach all this stuff, AI stuff. So, yun. I'm based in SG, Singapore. Ikaw, Joel, are you still studying or nag-work ka na? Malaki potential, no? The potential of using AI. You've heard, even in Singapore, they're investing into AI. So, I even gambled to quit my job and, so I can learn faster. I can adapt all these technologies, and, maybe later on I can also get, already AI related work. No, hindi na yung back-end programming na. So, go lang programmer ako, Joel. You can add me in LinkedIn if you want. My link is here. Yan ang aking LinkedIn. Nag-study ka pa ba, Joel? So, I have Facebook also. Working po. Ako dati yung nagchat-chat before nung nagsisimula pa lang kayo. Oh, alright. Thank you for coming back, Joel. I hope na, I hope you like the stream today. So, if you have your office mate mo, yung mga friends mo, invite mo sa stream ko para matuto din sila. Gusto ko nga mag-stream ng mas madalas kasi meron naman akong oras. Meron lang akong inayos na mga, mga mga paperwork. Kaya hindi ako makapag-stream ng everyday noon. Ngayon medyo okay na, medyo matatapos ko na. So, makapag-stream ako everyday. I'm also thinking of streaming, I don't know, game development. Or, kasi I don't know, or front-end development, di ako marunong eh. So, siguro I'll learn in the stream, ganon. Mga ganong streams. Lagay lang natin to. Yun. Ayan. If you haven't followed me, follow me in Twitch. So we have 82 out of 100 followers. Our target is 100 followers maybe. Sana end of the May we're able to target that following. Anong work mo, Joel? So anong programming language yung ginagamit mo? Programmer ka ba or ano yung work mo? Kung okay lang tanungin. Magtayo ka na lang ng business, sir, or tech company, tapos hire niyo po ako. Why not, no? Bakit hindi? Tignan natin yung opportunities. So, I'm still figuring out ano yung opportunities natin. Siguro on-the-job training, ganun, no? Add mo ako sa LinkedIn so we can get in touch, no? Tignan natin. Why not? Malay mo. Makakuha tayong investor. Diba? Tapos gawa tayong mga AI apps. Who knows? Yeah. For those who are lurking, thank you very much for staying, no? For the entire 1.5. How long did we stream? So, mga 1.5 hours. Programmer po, Angular, Java, Spring Boot, Node.js. Wow. I think those are good technologies, no? Dati akong Java developer. Spring Boot, ganyan. Nakalimutan ko na eh. So, ChatGPT na lang ako ngayon siguro para ma-refresh ako. I think okay yan, no? Back-end engineer. Who knows, makapag-work ka din overseas. Diba? Kung gusto mo. Pagtsagaan mo lang now. Later on, makakakuha ka din ng break. Like, either overseas or local din. I think I heard na malalaki din ang salary ng mga developer dyan sa local. Spring Boot. Oh, speaking of Spring Boot, may papakita ko sa'yo. Spring Boot. Buti na lang nabanggit mo. Si Spring Boot, although wrong spelling, pero okay lang. Spring Boot, our favorite Java framework, also has an AI feature. So you can also use, very excited ako, no? Kasi Java developer din ako before. You can also use this Spring AI SDK. Para siya SDK, included din siya sa Spring Boot. Di ba if you're bootstrapping a Spring Boot application, if you're bootstrapping a Spring Boot application, you can enable this feature. It also supports OpenAI, Amazon Bedrock, and the other APIs, even the text-to-image models here. So let's try to look at some examples that they have here. Oh, walang documentation. Oh, it's here. Okay. API doc. Ayoko ng ganitong doc. Java doc. So let's use this reference doc na lang. You see, getting started. So how do we do this? So let's say you want to create a new application using AI. So you just create Spring Boot. I don't have setup. Maybe later on gawin natin. No? Kasi interested din ako how you can use Java to create AI applications. So you just do this. So if you already have Spring Boot application, just call the Spring Boot add AI. Tapos ma-add na siya sa Spring Boot application mo. Tapos how do you use it? So you add dependencies. Tapos, I'm sure there's some example here. So, yan. Okay. So, ito yung example. I will show the Spring Boot example. So, you create a chat client. Then, the response is you... This is the type of the response. So, meron na rin siyang... it already has... the classes that you can use wherein you can just, unmarshal the data to it. Then you build the chat options, which is, this is similar to what we saw earlier also, right? Like, define the model, then define the temperature. No? Then you have the prompt. So, very similar. So, function calling, let's discuss that later. Very interesting din yan. It will also take up one session. So, yan. Excited ako to show you this, Joel. Spring Boot meron ding Spring AI. So, pwede mong gamitin sa iyong work. So, yan. So, hindi lang Python, hindi lang Node.js, you also have Spring Boot. So, this I think is a sample application. I'll drop the link below so you can bookmark. Yeah, so exciting. Spring Boot support. Yeah, I think Joel, yung sa pa-helpo work sa SG, mag-build ka muna ng career sa Philippines. Let's say 6 to 8 years. Tapos you can try overseas. Hindi lang Singapore, you have, I think, Germany, Netherlands. Marami nag-hire ng programmer. I think yung qualifications mo like Angular, Java are all in demand overseas. Promise. I'm not kidding. Nandito ako sa Singapore since 2008. Oh, not 2008. 2005. So, yan din yung skill ko. So, ang skill ko before is Java. Actually, Java lang eh. Of course, yung frameworks, no? Java Spring, application server like WebLogic or JBoss dati. So, yun. So, you try this out. Spring AI. It also supports the AI APIs that I showed you earlier. The OpenAI APIs. So, try nyo yan. Alright, 10 minutes. I think we're closing. If you have any questions, just feel free to drop by. Drop it in the chat. So, if you don't have any question, you can also join the Discord. So, pag may question kayo, you can ask in my Discord. So, join lang kayo. Joel, nasa Discord ka na ba? Sali ka kaya doon? Baka wala ka pa doon. Pwede mo ako i-chat doon sa Discord. Alright. So, yun. Medyo pwede ka makipag-message doon. Okay lang yun. Huwag ka mahiya. Hindi ka makakapunta ng overseas pag nahihiya ka. Promise. Kailangan proactive ka. Let's say, makipag-network ka sa ibang developers. Let's say sa akin, yung ginagawa mo, nakikipag-network ka na sa akin. Ganon. So, don't be shy. So, kailangan mo ng confidence if you're working overseas also. No? I think that's one of the nice topics we can do next week. You know? How to work overseas as a programmer. No? It's also a nice topic to discuss. So maybe I can invite some friends who are working overseas for so long, and we can see their thoughts on how to prepare or how to, to survive working overseas. Same, there are also challenges in working overseas, like you're far away from your family. If you don't have a family yet, you're gonna stay in overseas alone. Diba? So those are the challenges. Mm. Sabi nga nila, yung overseas work is not easy. Pero it's very lucrative in terms of you can earn a lot of money. I'm not encouraging brain drain, pero that's reality. So that's, I want the Filipinos to make our mark overseas. So kailangan natin magkaroon ng, strong developer community outside the Philippines also. So in turn, makakatulong tayo. Like for me, I give back by doing this. So I help yung fellow Filipinos ko to learn, not only technically, pati yung, what are your strategies on how to, to prepare for working abroad, no? So yun. Ano sa tingin mo, Joel? Kaya mo ba? So yan ang challenge ko sa'yo. Mm-mm. There's always opportunity overseas. Promise. Right now, flights are cheaper already. Makakapag-travel ka anywhere. There's no really stopping you from exploring outside Philippines. No, it makakapag-grow din kasi, let's say for example, I'm working here in Singapore for around, let's say 14 years in total. Kasi umuwi ako for 4 years in the Philippines. So in total, 14 years. So I've been able to work with different nationalities, different cultures, different types of people. So of course, kailangan maging well-versed ka rin sa English kasi that's the common language that is spoken here. So also if you work with people in Australia or the US, let's say you have a project there, then it's easy for you to communicate. So very important yan. Aside from your programming language skill, it's very important also to learn, uh, the English, conversational English and also, written English. For example, you want to create documents or you need to create document, kailangan mo yung skill na yun. And of course, resilience. Resilience on, you know, kasi working overseas is not easy also. Resilience na you can withstand the loneliness and the challenges of working away from your family or your friends and your loved ones. Ganon. Yeah. So magandang topic next stream, no? What do you think? Okay ba na topic natin next stream yan? Yeah, so I'll try to think if it's a good topic, maybe we can discuss that. I'll try to invite some people also kung free sila. My challenge kasi is yung mga ini-invite ko minsan may work sila or nag-work sila overseas, let's say Canada. Masyado malayo yung time difference. Let's say late evening dito tapos early morning sa kanila. So hindi pa sila nakapagkape, kinakausap mo na sila. So kung baliktad naman, masyado naman aga for us. So yun. So kailangan natin na sweet point. Maybe a recorded interview, pwede, no? Tingnan natin. Hmm. All right, I think that's it for today. It's already almost 8:30. So I'll just wrap up until 8:30. So kung may questions pa kayo, I'll just stay a bit. Mm-mm. Sara natin 8:30 para eksakto. 6:30 to 8:30 na stream. So 2 hour stream for today. So I really enjoyed sharing the information to you guys about OpenAI. Thank you for staying, guys. I really appreciate it. 6 viewers. I think we pick around, I don't know, 8 viewers earlier. So that's, I think, good enough. As long as you stayed for the entire stream, happy na ako. Mm. Very good. I hope you learned something from this. I will upload the replay in YouTube. So everyone who missed this can always watch it in YouTube. So I'll also share it in all my social media channels so you can watch the replay. All right. Thank you very much, guys, and have a good week ahead. It's just Tuesday. So 3 days pa until the weekends. I think holiday tomorrow dito sa Singapore. I'm not sure in the Philippines if it's holiday. Yeah, oh, may mas sumasali pa, no? Thank you for joining the stream. Uh, we're almost ending the stream at 8:30, but the VOD or the replays will be in Twitch for 7 days, and are gonna upload it in my YouTube. Maybe I can drop my YouTube here. So YouTube, I think I don't need to upload because it's already streamed to YouTube also. So my YouTube is youtube.com/donvitocodes. You guys can follow me there, and you can also watch the replays in that channel. Mm. All right, thank you very much, and good night. No, see you next stream. I will see if I can stream in the middle of uh, from today until next Tuesday. Pero for sure next Tuesday I will think of a topic, and once you have followed me, so you will get notified anyway that if I stream again, then you'll be able to see me live. All right. Thank you, guys, and good night. Thank you for staying with me today. Bye bye.